protection of fundamental rights of each and every citizen is the sacrosanct duty of the judiciary, which has been conferred on by the Constitution.
During the 1970s, one of the biggest challenges we faced was Article 21 was suspended. And the government succeeded in convincing the Supreme Court Article 21 is suspended because it was suspendable. The citizens of India have lost the right to life and liberty.
राइट टू हेल्थ की बात क्यों नहीं करते हम लोग? राइट टू हेल्थ, स्वास्थ्य का अधिकार, उसमें कोई किंतु परंतु लेकिन परंच नहीं, सीधे तौर पे स्वास्थ्य का अधिकार कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली गारंटीड, राइट टू लाइफ के साथ लिंक करिए.
Life is important and life matters from the beginning stages of life to the end of
the right to life.
The right to life.
The right to life.
Hello everyone, welcome to our first video on educational series on the topic Indian Constitution. In today's episode, we are discussing Article 21 of Indian Constitution. To understand better, let's go back to history. The Constitution of India was adopted on 26 November 1949 but came into effect on 26 January 1950. India became a democratic republic, ensuring individual rights.
We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign democratic republic.
संविधान प्रस्तुत करते समय डॉक्टर अंबेडकर ने कहा,
So far as the ultimate goal is concerned, I think none of us need have any apprehension. None of us need have any doubt.
From the cinematic presentation, let's get back to the fact. The first question is, what is fundamental rights? Fundamental rights was borrowed from the Constitution of USA. Article 12 to 35 of Indian Constitution deals with fundamental rights. Just imagine yourself without a fundamental rights. How would you feel when any law of the land is not applied equally, and when you're discriminated on the grounds of religion, caste, sex, and where there is no equal opportunity of employment to any public office? When you face untouchability, when you're not allowed to speak or express your thought, when you're not allowed to assemble or protest against the government, when you're not allowed to move freely throughout India and you're restricted, when you're not allowed to take up any profession or to carry business you like. Just imagine you getting arrested for no reason, not even allowed to contact your family members, where there is human trafficking or forced labor. You're not allowed to manage your religious affairs. Very hard to imagine, right? That's how important fundamental rights are.
Article 21, of course, is called the kingpin of all other rights because it gives us the right to life and personal liberty. And thanks to the Supreme Court decisions, this simple one-line article has given rise to something like 30 other rights, the most recent of which is the right to privacy, which was laid down by 9 of our judges. Our Article 21, which is the single most important article in our fundamental rights chapter, which is the right to life and personal liberty, was directly taken from Article 31 of that Constitution.
Now coming to the question, what is Article 21? Article 21 of Indian Constitution states that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Now before discussing Article 21 in detail, let's take into notice few very important facts on it. Article 21 is one of the fundamental rights placed in Part 3 of Indian Constitution. It is often known as heart and soul of Indian Constitution and fundamental of all fundamental rights and also most evolved fundamental rights. This article emphasizes the importance of life and personal liberty as fundamental to human existence. And remember, Article 21 cannot be suspended even during an emergency. Thus, Article 21 brings difference between police state and a constitutional state. Article 21 is available to both citizens of India and non-citizens, but it does not mean foreigners are entitled to right to reside and settle in India. As per the Supreme Court, Article 21 doesn't merely provide right to life, but a right to dignified life. Therefore, we need to understand that all fundamental rights and DPSP ultimately aim to provide dignified life to people. Hence, all other fundamental rights revolve around Article 21, and without right to life enjoyed by an individual, all other fundamental rights will become meaningless. In Article 21, we have three important subtopics, that is right to life, personal liberty, and procedure established by law. Let's take it up one by one. To understand Article 21 as a whole, we need to understand procedure established by law first. So let's begin with this. There are two different approaches of judicial review. One is procedure established by law and the second one is due process of law. Procedure established by law was originated and followed in UK. Due process was originated in USA. Procedure established by law is mentioned in the Indian Constitution. Due process is not mentioned in the Indian Constitution. Procedure established by law is narrowly interpreted. Due process is broad with the use of natural justice. But today let's stick to only procedure established by law to avoid confusions. To begin with, let's understand the procedure or process of making a law in India. As a first step, the bill will be introduced in the House. Second, the pros and the cons of the bill will be discussed, and then it will be voted in the Houses. Fourth step, once the bill is passed by both the House, then it goes to President for a signature. Once the bill gets signed by the President, it becomes a law. These are the process how law takes birth. Coming back to the procedure established by law, under this doctrine, when a person is suffering of life or liberty and challenges it in the court will examine whether there is a law that allows the executive to take away the individual of life and liberty. And further, the court will examine whether that law has been passed by a competent legislative and that legislative have followed all the procedure correctly while passing a law. For better understanding of this doctrine, let's create stories. Story 1. A family went to the court challenging her husband's death sentence, stating it's against his fundamental right, that is right to life. But the court replied saying there is a clear law which says death sentence in India is a punishment for certain crimes under Indian Penal Code IPC. And this law came into force after following all the procedure correctly, therefore you are punishable. Story 2. When CBI went to arrest a person on a corruption case, that person replied, arresting me is illegal because CBI itself is a legal institution. Because while forming this institution, the president hadn't signed the document which gives the power to form CBI. Hence, no proper procedure was followed which allows to form CBI. So how can you arrest me, the man said. This matter was taken to the Supreme Court. In fact, he is right. But if you only go on the concept procedure established by law, because CBI was not formed by following all the procedure established by law. But the court, however, used doctrine due process of law instead procedure established by law in this case. And told, listen, you have a point when it comes to questioning the CBI origin. But protection to any individual is extended only against arbitrary and wrong action of an executive. But you were arrested for a right reason, so you have to surrender. Coming back to the second subtopic of Article 21, right to life. The first part of Article 21 guarantees the right to life. It says that every person has the right to live with dignity and security. However, this right is not absolute and can be restricted or taken away by the procedure established by law. And some might wonder, if everyone has a right to life, then why do we see death sentence, encounter, etc.? The answer is procedure established by law, which we have already explained in story 1. When a law has been passed by the parliament by following all the procedure, then the state can take away right to life guaranteed by Article 21, and it will be valid and cannot be challenged in the court.
Now, liberty takes you straight away to the core of fundamental rights. And this liberty is to be not only of thought and expression, but equally of religious belief.
And talking about the third subtopic of Article 21, that is right to personal liberty. This part protects the personal liberty of every individual. It ensures that all individuals have the freedom to make choice, move freely, and enjoy their personal autonomy. Any unlawful detention or arbitrary arrest violates this right, and this has been explained in story 2. And this part also comes with reasonable restriction. And point to be noted, Article 21 gave birth to the largest number of inferred rights like right to primary education, right to privacy, right to sleep, right to corruption-free environment, right to shelter, right against cruel punishment, right to speedy and fair trial, right to health of the workers, etc. Court gave a list of rights that Article 21 covers. Based on earlier judgments, some of them are: one of the important and recent being right to privacy. The most important judgment is Justice K.S. Puttaswamy vs. Union of India 2017. In this case, right to privacy was declared as fundamental rights under Article 21.
Judgment that has empowered the citizens of India like never before. Right to privacy is a fundamental right under the Constitution. For the very first time, the Supreme Court has laid that out clearly in a landmark ruling that affects the lives of all Indians.
A 9-judge constitutional bench headed by Chief Justice J.S. Kehar broke its silence on the verdict which it reserved on 2nd August. Right to privacy was declared a fundamental right.
Even the Supreme Court has accepted now this argument that privacy is a fundamental right, but it's not an absolute right. So if it is, it has to be fitted somewhere. The Supreme Court says prima facie it can fit into Article 21. In some cases it can go into Article 19 and therefore would be subjected to the restrictions which are available in those provisions of the Constitution.
प्राइवेसी यानी कि निजता नागरिकों का मौलिक अधिकार है.
Now let's understand what does privacy mean. The Oxford Dictionary of Law defines privacy as the right to be left alone. Taking a clue from this definition, we can say that right to privacy is a right to keep your personal information private. In India, multiple cases where people have raised concern over privacy like Aadhaar program violated the right to privacy, telephone calls tapping, pasting posters outside the homes of COVID positive patients, and compromised personal data of crores of Indian people by big companies. The chief goal of Article 21 is that when the right to life or liberty of a person is taken away by the state, it should only be according to the prescribed procedure of law. The line, "No person shall be deprived of life and liberty except as per the procedure established by law." This indicates that this right has been provided against the state only. State here includes not just the government, but also government departments, local bodies and legislatures, etc. Any private individual encroaching on these rights of another individual does not amount to violation of Article 21. The remedy for the victim in this case would be under Article 226 or under general law.